We have reached the last episode of our 4-part Age of Apocalypse story arc. Wolverine and the Human High Council are trying to convince the Mutant Gateway to help them nuke Apocalypse, North America, and every mutant and human left over in it. Will they succeed? And what happens when an old enemy makes an appearance again, along with an old ally? Things are coming to a head as time is running out to stop Apocalypse from destroying all of humankind. Join me today in our last installment of Wolverine's Age of Apocalypse. Let's go. Another great cover here, kind of spoiling the surprise of the return of Pierce back from the dead a second time now. This issue's ads watch is great. We see the advertisers have come on board with Meteor Press, making me wonder what the reason was for why they went out of business originally. It certainly seems like they're getting those sweet ad dollars. I can't find much online about their demise, so I'm not really sure what went wrong. One of the most interesting ads is this one for Virgin Media. It's not an advert for a record store, but rather the record label itself, which I don't think I've ever seen. Like, have you ever seen an ad for Sony Records or EMI? We see an ad here for Shaggy's first hit record, Boombastic, a classic song. We also see an ad here for UB40, as well as 2 Unlimited's Hits Unlimited. I didn't know they had any hits. We get a PC software ad, finally some video games. That's always a good sign for a comic book. I have no idea what Stone Keep is, I've never heard of it. At the back we get an ad for the Mortal Kombat animated movie, and the CGI in this blew us away as kids, even though it's pretty horrible by today's standards. You know, now that I think about it, back then it wasn't that great either. But it was CGI, which made it amazing. From an appropriate ad to an inexplicable one. A musical being advertised in a comic book. I mean, who's this for? Look at this spread. The leader of the pack next to a creature in a breeding vat. There's an advert for the Spider-Man cartoon series that we saw in the previous issue, and it's still haunted. We get another Mortal Kombat ad, this time for the trading cards. It includes scenes from the movie, scenes from the animated movie, and scenes from the game for some reason. I don't know why, that seems pretty strange to me. And an advert for a Spider-Man sticker book ends ads watch. Jam-packed this issue. I think they're making up for the previous double issue's lack of ads. We open on the Human High Council giving a presentation to Gateway. They're showing him video evidence of the atrocities committed by Apocalypse in America. This is the reality of the great culling, Gateway. Apocalypse's infinites are killing every man, woman and child in North America. Can you still refuse to lead our airships in a strike against this evil before it devours Eurasia as well? This is the human condition, my dear Miss Frost. The species has always practiced genocide. Philistines and Trojans were wiped off the face of the earth. The Easter Islanders. For the greater part of human history, it was de rigueur. De rigueur. De rigueur? Oh, well, Logan gives us a pronunciation here. De rigueur. De rigueur? You've been up in your ivory tower too long. Those socio-anthropologists from Berkeley should have never brought you out of the outback. So we can see the footage that was shot is like a 3D holographic projection, so we're like right there. Please don't kill me, please. I'm nobody. I can't hurt any of you. I'm just... Look here, Logan, this is distasteful. I understand what went on here, so there's no need to... Yeah, you know all about statistics and that old, cold, abstract intellectual concept of death. But you ain't never seen the Reaper Man up close, have you? You ain't never seen the warm light fade from the eyes. Never seen a person who could laugh, cry, and dream turn to meat right in front of you. This next bit kind of takes me out of it. Logan says, I had the text do a digital map of a diary so I could, quote, pick it up like this. I ain't asking you to do it for the faceless millions. I'm asking you to do it for Jodie Craig, who's never going to see 17. You want to read the great books of mankind? You read Jodie's diary. You read her joys and her sorrows, her expectations and wonderment. And then you look me in the eye and tell me you're going to write her off. Logan, you are a cold son of a... Yes, sir, I surely am. That's what comes from being short, hairy, and unloved. Now, the shoe-on part is this idea of the diary that Logan asked the engineers to 3D, to make that diary interactable, just to prove a point to Gateway, because he obviously would have had to do that ahead of time. Because that means Wolverine went to some engineers beforehand and was like, hey, I have this great idea for a bit. Can you program me an accurate genocide victim's diary, please? Tell the kid to turn off his holographic home movies, Braddock. Old Gateway ain't gonna give you and the rest of the human High Council the time of day, let alone guide your fleet to Apocalypse. You have all the subtlety of a pair of brass knuckles, Logan. A bit of politeness might have bounced off my shell of smug self-involvement. I've studied mankind long enough to know that our greatest sin has been to learn nothing from our mistakes. So if you will accept an abashed mea culpa from a reformed pedant, I am now prepared to shepherd your air flotilla from the city of light to the dominion of darkness. So Gateway is willing to help now, which is good since this is the last issue. Cut to Apocalypse. His manservant Rex informs him the Human High Council has moved their airship armada, but they don't know where to. He notes that there's a massive storm brewing over the Atlantic, so the airship armada won't strike soon, if at all. Apocalypse says the players are all in place for the endgame, Rex. I'm curious to see how it plays out. But they could destroy... Whoever wins will justify their genetic superiority, won't they? As for Pierce and his cohorts, I've reason to believe that they are more adaptable than we had known. He came from the same batch of techno-organic soup as this specimen here. Ugliness is not a power. Yesterday there were two distinct humans in that vat. One with enhanced hands in the new techno-organic strain, and one uninfected human with a restructured cranium. We tossed in the plasma pistols just for effect. The vat techs think it eats its own surplus parts. So we learn here that these altered humans can kind of assimilate each other physical parts as well as normal regular humans, which is a bit concerning. Rex, who's basically Apocalypse's personal assistant, looks like the Joker here, but previously we saw him look quite comical, like a young blue-eyed intern. I love the shot from the first X-Men Alpha that shows him actually getting blown off his feet as Apocalypse shouts at him. Cut back to the air fleet high above Paris. We can see the eerie sight of destroyed Paris in the background here, and it looks insane. Gateway is trying to manage with the coming storm. The plan is to simply fly through this storm, because they'll be able to avoid Apocalypse's sensors, and Apocalypse would never expect the humans to be so crazy, to be so risky, to fly their armada through this storm. We get a little more information on the subplot for Braddock here, the owner of Braddock Industries that manufactures the Sentinels. People don't seem to trust him due to his suspicious behavior. Let's listen in here. This is unwise, Braddock. You should not be on board. You are indispensable to the council. You're the one who designed most of this equipment. Who better to be aboard if anything goes wrong? Remember, all the techs and navigators were killed by Pierce over London. But this discussion is over. Betsy says something is not right about him. And Logan points out that Mariko said the same thing. Logan says if he was stooging for Apocalypse, would he be on this airship? If he sold us out, this ship would be target number 1. To which Betsy says that would be suicidal, wouldn't it? As suicidal as coming on board if you thought your former soulmate had run off to warn the enemy of your plans. Referencing Genia, and this triggers Wolverine a bit. Come take a walk with me, Mrs. Frost. Down to the weapons bay. This is the stuff that'll turn half a continent into a glowing cinder. She knows I'll be on the lead ship, and she knows what we're carrying. It's a terrible, terrible thing we're doing, Mrs. Frost, but we harden our hearts to it. Some more than others, and we're resolved to carry it through, because we know what Apocalypse will do to every living human. But Jean, now she's a pistol and a firecracker in a fight. But I know there ain't no hardening her heart to do the likes of this. No ma'am, no way. I surely hope she still loves me as much as I love her. But I love her so much, you see, that I know her heart. And what I know tells me she'll storm heaven and hell to stop this here hard rain from falling. Betsy feels a bit bad now. What I said before was mean beyond words. I'm so sorry. I can't imagine what it must be like for you two. What's it like for me, Miss Frost? Me, who's going to help pitch these down right on top of her? Yeah, so Logan has quite a decision to make here. So Logan is in quite a tough spot here. It makes me think of the position that Magneto is in, with the idea that if Magneto stops Apocalypse, it means his whole world, his whole personal life stops existing. And here with Logan, to complete his mission, he has to basically kill the woman he loves. We see what Gateway's up to as he's on top of the airships, guiding the whole armada through the storm. Logan is a bit concerned as this guy's just running barefoot on top of a blimp. Gateway, if you've got to play hood ornament, at least let me pitch you a safety line. You chose a bad time to distract me, Logan. We are about to plunge into the storm front. Unfortunately, we have incoming guests. I wonder who they could be. It's Pierce, back from the dead yet again, just as the cover promised us. He's proving what an absolute asshole he is by immediately ratting out the humans to Apocalypse's ocean defenses, the North Atlantic Sea Security Platform. He contacts the defensive sea wall we saw in issue 1 and has them send out interceptor craft to come destroy the armada as he warns them of their coming. Pierce is being flown around by some winged creature as they smash into the old airship and immediately just start killing everyone. Go to town, girl. It's open season on humans. Gateway, we need Logan down in the bridge. We've been boarded. Tell him it's Pierce. Wait, how did you know that? Good question. Up topside, girl. Do the Aborigine and his mutant friend. Braddock, the hour is come to show your true colors. For Apocalypse. I'm sorry, Emma. And it's crazy that Pierce just basically tells everyone immediately Braddock is a traitor, and Braddock smacks the crap out of Betsy and starts doing Pierce's bidding. Cut to a hellish scene at the top of the airship. The airships are now in the middle of the storm, and we find out the flying altered human is a reconstructed Captain Marvel from the previous issue. She and Vultura have been bonded together in one four-armed flying monster. White noise roaring. Ozone stinging my nostrils and the taste of copper on my tongue. She rose out of the storm like some exterminating angel of chaos. Plasma blasts ripping in the electric insanity. I knew who she was even in the darkness between the lightning flashes. Carol. Wolverine's arm gets shot up and Captain Marvel is about to kill Gateway, and Wolverine tries to reason with what humanity is still left in her. Carol, don't do it. Look what they've done to you. That's what the whole world is gonna be like. We go back to the interior of the ship where Betsy confronts Braddock. Braddock, you sold out the whole human race. Pierce notes the High Lord has long arms, eh? Blow her away, puppet. Do as you have been programmed. I tried to fight it, Emma. I was too weak. Until now. So I guess Braddock is not brainwashed. I really don't get why Braddock would become a traitor. He's literally the most powerful human on Earth, so it's never really made clear why he would make a deal with Apocalypse. I guess he thought it was a hopeless situation or something. Well, Pierce kills Braddock in retaliation, and Betsy saves him. Kind of. I couldn't do it, Emma. In the end, I was only human. Well, do what? He did betray everybody. He did ruin humanity's plan to bomb Apocalypse. So, yeah, cut back to the top of the airship. And Captain Marvel explains to us how she's still alive. I was dying, Logan. The grenade tore me and Pierce apart. But he infected me with whatever he's got. And he put us back together using parts from the other altered humans. I'm sharing this body with something loathsome, Logan, and I don't have full control. It's gonna make me shoot Gateway. For pity's sake, Logan, stop me. Do what you have to do. But Wolverine says, Carol, my arm is all shot up. Pierce realizes he can't rely on Captain Marvel to do his bidding anymore, so he kills her. My arm is functioning quite nicely, thank you. She was my only way off this death ship, but who cares? As long as you take the long plunge into darkness with me. What a psycho. He attempts to kill Gateway, and Logan's only working arm is the one that has the hand chopped off. But we learn that Logan may have lost his hand, but the claws are still there, retracted inside his forearm. We get a great shot here of Wolverine killing Pierce. Okay, so by now, surely they should know this won't be enough to kill Pierce for long. I mean, he just took a gunshot to the face 5 minutes earlier, so this claw isn't going to be enough, guys. Gateway has the idea to attach his teleportation device to a rope to increase the radius of its spin and create a big enough teleportation hole to transport the whole armada through directly to North America and Apocalypse. I wish I could say I was happy about this, Gateway, because in some ways I was hoping we'd get shot down with our payload of death. But if it's in my stars to bring this war to Apocalypse, then let's get it on, because Doomsday is coming. And there we go, guys, another 4-part story arc down. The conclusion of this is in the next issue, X-Men Omega.